Good morning, guys. So my report is all about transportation safety and economics. As the number of motor vehicle and vehicle miles of travel increases throughout the world, the exposure of population to traffic crashes also increases. So traffic and highway engineers are continually engaged in working to ensure that the street and the highway system is designed and operated such highway crash rates can be reduced. They also work with law enforcement and officials and educators in team efforts to ensure that traffic laws such as regarding speed limits and drinking are enforced and the motorists are educated about their responsibility to drive defensively and to understand and obey traffic regulations. In highway safety, there are five major safety programs that are addressed by states in developing safety management programs. First is coordinating integrating roadway safety programs. Next is identifying and investigating hazardous highway safety problems and roadway locations and features. Number three is ensuring early consideration of safety in all highway construction programs and projects. Number four is on the identifying safety needs of special user groups in planning, design, construction, and operation of the highway system. And lastly, routinely maintain and upgrading system hardware, highway elements, and operational features. Um, so in transportation safety, there are some issues involved. First is the crashes of accidents. It is crashes or accidents. So the term crash is commonly accepted word for an occurrence involving one or more transportation vehicle in a collision that results in property damages, injuries, and or death. The term incident implies a random event that occurs for no apparent reason other than it's just happened. So have you ever seen in situation where something happened, it was unintended, or then your immediate reaction might be sorry, it's just an accident. So just like that. Next, in recent years, the National Highway Traffic System Administration has suggested replacing the word accident with the word crash because crash implies that collision could have been prevented if its effect minimized by modifying driver's behavior. Vehicle accident called crashworthiness, roadway geometry, and or the traveling environment. So these are some factors or the causes of those crash. So what are the causes of transportation crash? In some cases, the answer may be simple. For example, the cause of single crash may be that the driver fell asleep or the wheel crossed the highway shoulder and crashed into a tree. In other cases, the answer may be complex, involving the factors that acting together cause the crash occur. So those factors discussed natin yan. So based on these illustrations and other similar cases, it is possible to construct a general list of categories of circumstances that could influence the occurrence of transportation crashes if the factors that have contributed to crash events are identified. It is possible to modify and improve the transportation system in the future with a reduction or elimination of crash causing factor. A safer transportation is likely to result in transportation crashes. So first, one of the factors is the driver or the operator action. So the major contributing cause of many crash situations is the performance of the driver of one or both of the vehicle involved. Driver error can occur in many ways, such unintention of the road and surrounding traffic, failure to yield right of way and or traffic laws. These failures can occur as a result of unfamiliarity with roadway condition, traveling at high speeds, drowsiness, drinking, and using cell phones or other distractions within the vehicle. So this is one of the factors that um, like the factors na this is one of the factors in transportation crashes. Next is the vehicle condition. So the mechanical condition of a vehicle can be the cause of transportation crashes. Faulty brakes in heavy trucks have caused crashes. Other reasons are failure of electrical systems, worn tires, and the location of the vehicle center of the gravity. So if the vehicle is not well conditioned, it may cause transportation crash. Next is the roadway condition. So the condition and quality of the roadway, which includes the pavement, shoulders, intersections, and traffic control system, can be a factor of crashes. Highway must be designed to provide adequate sight distance at the design speed or motorists will be mm, the motorists will unable to take immediate action to avoid crashes. Traffic signals must provide adequate decision sight distance when the signal goes from green to red. Next is the environment. So the physical and the climate environment surrounding a transportation vehicle can also be a factor of in the occurrence of transportation crash, with the most common um, being weather. So just for example, if it is rainy, so the ang sleepiness sa road is more or more pag wet ang mga pavements, so it reduce stopping friction and can cause a vehicle to hydroplane. So many severe crashes have been caused by fog because vehicles traveling at a high speed or are unable to see other vehicles ahead that may be stopped or slowed transportation crashes. So those are some factors involved in transportation crash. Strategic highway safety plans. So the purpose of this plan is to develop a process through which each state would identify its key safety needs, such that investment decisions can be made that will result in significant reduction in highway fatalities and serious injuries on public roads. So these are the suggested activities that could be included in the plans. So first is gain leadership, support an initiative. Next is identify a champion, initiate the development process, gather data, analyze data, establish working groups, bring safety partners together. Next is adopt the strategic goal. Next is identify key emphasis areas from task groups. Then identify key emphasis area performance-based goals. Next is identify strategies and countermeasures. And lastly, we have determine priorities for implementation, right, or SHSP. So next is the highway safety improvement programs at the process level. So here's the um, schematic diagram. So in highway safety improvement programs, there are three components, which is the planning component, implementation components, and evaluation components. So the planning components consist of four processes, while implementation components has only one process, and evaluation has only one. Right? So the planning component of Highway Safety Improvement Program consists of four processes as shown in the figure. These are first collecting and maintaining data. Next is identifying hazardous location and elements. Third is conducting engineering studies. And fourth is establishing project priorities. So the previous figure shows the information obtained under the planning component serves as the input to the two other components, and the result obtained from the evaluation components may also serve as the input into the planning component. Implementation and evaluation components. So in implementation, it involves scheduling selected project and implementing highway safety improvements selected. Next is for the evaluation components. It involves determination of the effect of highway safety improvements. This involves the collecting of data for a period after the implementation of the project to determine whether anticipated benefits are actually occurred. This task is important since the information obtained will provide valuable data for other similar projects. Effectiveness of safety design features. So the different crash types are: first is collision with trees in hazardous location. Next is head-on collision and signalized intersection collision. Collision on horizontal curve, collision involving pedestrian, collision and signalized intersection. So the objectives and strategies. So first in collision with trees in hazardous location. So the the objectives in here is to develop, revise and implement guidelines to prevent placing trees in location hazardous location. Next is to develop mowing and vegetation control guidelines. Next is um, remove trees in hazardous location. Shield motorists from striking trees. Modify roadside clear zone in vicinity of trees. And lastly is delineate trees in hazardous location. This is head-on collision. The strategies in here is to install um, centerline rumble strips for two-lane roads. Next is install profiled thermoplastic strips for center lines. Provide wider cross sections for two-lane roads. Provides center two-way left turn lanes for four or two-lane roads. Next is relocate total two-way roadway with lane and shoulder to include a narrow buffer median. Next is use alternating passes lanes of four-lane section at key locations. Next is install median barriers for narrow width medians and multi-lane roads. So those are the strategies on this problem, which is head collision. Next is unsignalized intersection collision. So the objectives and the strategies in here is first is implement driveway closures or relocations. Next is implement driveway turn restrictions. Next is provide left turn lanes at intersection. Provide offset turn lanes and intersections. Next is provide right and left turn acceleration lanes at divide highway intersections. Next is restrict or eliminate turning maneuvers by signing and channeling, enclosing median openings. Next is clear sight triangles or stop field intersection. Last is change horizontal and or vertical alignment of approach to provide more sight distance. Next is collisions on horizontal curves. So these are some strategies that may apply. So First is provide advance warning for an unexpected change in horizontal curves. Next is enhance delineation along the curve. Next is install shoulder and centerline rumble strips. Provide skid resistance pavement surface and so on and etc. Next is for the collision involving pedestrian. So the strategies are first is provide sidewalks or walkways on curb ramps, install or upgrade traffic and pedestrian refuge island and raise medians. Next is install and upgrade traffic or pedestrian signals, provide crosswalk enhancement, signals to alert motorists that pedestrians are crossings, eliminate screenings by physical objects, implement road narrowing measures, install traffic calming road sections, and install traffic calming intersections. So next is collision at signalized intersection. First is employ multi-phase signal operation, optimize clearing interval, employ signal coordination, employ emergency vehicle preemption. Next is provide or improve left left turn and right turn channelization, and then improve geometry of pedestrian and bicycle facilities. And last is redesign intersection approaches. So the design feature to be considered. So first is access control. Access control is defined as some combination of at-grade intersections, business and private driveways at mid-run crossovers. For any given highway, um, access control can range from full control to no access control. The reason why access control improves safety is because there are fewer unexpected events caused by vehicles entering and leaving the traffic streams at slower speeds, resulting in less interference with through traffic. Is the alignment. The geometrical design of highway involves three elements. The first is the vertical alignment, which is influenced by consideration of terrain, cost, and safety. Next is the horizontal alignment, which influenced by design speed and super elevation of the curve itself. Lastly is the cross-section alignment. The third is the cross-section. Cross-section of the one of the most important roadway one of the most important roadway features affecting safety is the highway cross-section. Cross-section elements may be added when two-lane road is inadequate, possibly improving both traffic operations and safety. Safety improvements in the highway cross-sections are usually focused on two-lane roads, with the exception of clear zone treatments and median design of multi-lane highways. Next is the intersection. Intersection represents the site of the most urban motor vehicle crashes in the United States. The number of crashes at the intersection has increased by 14% to over a 20-year period. In urban areas with high traffic volumes, intersection must be accommodated a high volume of turning movements that traverse a large surface area. In this situation, channelization is an effective means to improve safety. Type of lane dividers used for intersection channelization and raised reflectors, painted lines, barriers, and medians. Increase sight radius by removal obstacles. So, so in so this is the example of increasing sight radius. So by removing sight by removing obstacles. So as you can see, mas 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 prevent na to ang collision or ang crashes kung diri pa lang daan kay walay barriers between sa cross section, di ba? So dapat makita nga nga kani nga driver dapat makita niya ning kan kung ma-remove na ning obstacles diri is as lesser ang crash. Number five is the pedestrian facilities. The safety of pedestrians is of great concern to traffic and highway engineers. Effort to reduce pedestrian and bicycle crashes involve education, enforcement, and engineering measures, as is case of for motor vehicle crashes. In addition, characteristics of pedestrian crashes indicates the factors related to occurrence include age, sex, alcohol use, time of day, urban or rural area type, and intersection or mid-block crossing location. So here's the principal geometric design elements used to improve pedestrian safety. First is the sidewalk. Next, overpass or tunnels, raised islands, auto-free shopping streets, neighborhood traffic control to limit speeding and through traffics, curb cuts that assist wheelchairs users and pedestrian with baby carriage, land and shoulders that are paved and widened. So these are the common types of pedestrian crashes. First is dart out. Next is intersection dash, bus stop, multiple threat, vehicle turn merge, walking along roadway. So transportation economics. So for the transportation economics, transportation plays a vital role in economy. It makes economic activities possible and serve as major economic activities in its own right, contributing directly and indirectly to the economy. Household business and the government directly consume the transportation goods, example vehicle and motor fuel and services. For example, passengers and freight air transportation. Transportation indirectly contributes to the economy by enabling the production of goods and employing workers in transportation occupancy in both transportation industry and non-transportation industry. Public and private expenditures on transportation facilities, infrastructures, and system contributes to the economy by enabling the movement of both people and goods domestically and internationally. Transportation not only enables international trades but also is a major goods and service traded. More information about economics of transportation, you can click this and um, I will put the link below, and that's all about my report, safety and economics. Thank you and God bless.